YouTubers, Mike Martins here with the Mike Martins channel. Thanks for joining us. I got an article here from our friends over at CTV News here in Canada. BC says landlords can start eviction processes again, effective immediately. June 25th, that is today's date. Unless you're watching this in the past or in the future, let me know in the comments below. Is this affecting you? Has this affected you? Are you a landowner? Are you a landowner? Are you a tenant? Are you a renter? Are you a landlord? What are you? Tell us below if this affected you or impacted you in any way, shape, or form. Did you fall behind on your mortgage payments because your rent wasn't being paid? Is it an investment property? Comment below. Let's get a discussion going. So here it is, guys. Effective immediately. Now with COVID, now, who do you blame for this? So let's read a bit and we'll talk about blame game. Vancouver landlords in British Columbia are allowed to start evicting tenants again, but not for failing to pay rent. Oh, okay. On Wednesday, province's Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing said landlords can once again issue a notice and end of tenancy for reasons other than late or missed rent payments effective immediately. But you know what that's going to start doing, right? Oh, by the way, you're too loud and we got a lot of complaints. Oh, by the way, you haven't kept up your end by you promised or whatever. And that's going to start even a bigger stink. Landlords are also once again allowed to enter the residential suite without tenants' consent, including for maintenance and showings, provided they give 24 hours notice. They are expected to follow the health guidelines like physical distancing, cleaning, and wearing masks when appropriate, the minister said in a news release. Any landlords who have existing eviction orders can take them to court for enforcement beginning July the 2nd. The government stressed that its moratorium on evictions related to rent and its moratorium on the rent increases remain in effect. Officials say they will be giving the public advance notice before lifting those measures. A framework will be put in place that will require landlords to work with tenants to repay rent that is owing over a reasonable period of time, the ministry said. Framework. That's the scary part right there. Yeah, to repay the rent that is owing over a reasonable period of time. So are they going to charge interest on that money, VIG? Could they stretch it out for a 12-month amortization and then let's say they owe $2,000 and they pay an extra $150, extra 100 this a month on the existing rent to catch up? Are there ways around that? Are there ways? I'm just trying to think the best way to make this possible for people that are in the rears right now, right? Advocates for tenants are arguing much more should be done to protect the people who have been hit hard by the crisis. The Vancouver Tenants Union has created a petition calling on the government to cancel all existing eviction notices and rent debt accrued before and during the pandemic to help people recover financially. As of Wednesday evening, the petition had been signed about 1,150 times. The group argued that letting people lose homes. The group argued that letting people lose homes they have lived in for years, though eventual eviction would result in destruction of much of the existing affordable rent stock. Yeah, that's the problem right there. It will result in the destruction of much of the existing affordable rent stock. The vast majority of units that have been lived in for years by low-income and vulnerable tenants who paid below market rents will be transformed into unaffordable market rate rental units and fuel our housing crisis, the Tenants Union said on its website. So there it is there, guys. This is a big deal. This is a huge deal. Now, who's to blame? I would say the federal government. I'm going to point the finger at the federal government. Why? Because they had reports of a sickness in Wuhan, China, by the Pentagon in July of 2019. So I think I've got this in December. My whole family and the whole town I live in has gotten this. I think we've all gotten this here. And everyone I speak to that comes into my place of business tells me the same thing, that they think they've got this. They had crushed glass lungs, couldn't breathe, in bed for a couple of weeks, unable to move. And then it hit them hard the second time. It was worse the second time. And man, was I ever mad when I got this, because I didn't know what it was. And it was Christmas week here and at the store. I couldn't be here, and I had to close a few days because I'm sole proprietor. I'm just here alone. Man, was that ever an issue for me. But yeah, I think we got this, and we got reports on that. And with Canada being one of the very few countries to not close flights to China, very terrible move on the federal government. But you can't stop the money from coming in, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is sad, this is scary, and this is real. So, you know, landlords, if you're watching this, I would recommend creating a 12-month amortization built into the lease. What you could do, let's say the person has 2 years left on their lease. Let's say they have 2 years, okay? I would do 24 months without interest and then add the difference. So let's say they have 6 grand owing you, and then break that down into 24 months and then add that to the existing rent and let them go forward as is like that. So there's going to be a lot of retail stores closing in Vancouver, a lot of retail small business, mom and pop's business, restaurants, a lot of that stuff will be closing. Why? Because the locals just won't have any money to go out and do stuff anymore. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Eviction processes start effective immediately. You know, landlords are going to find excuses to evict people, right? Even though, well, they're behind on their rent, but I'm not evicting them for that. I'm evicting them for this. And that's when the blame game gets really fueled and out of control. Comment below. Look forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching.